Welcome to the first day of the 12 Days of Lumians. Today I want to ask one of the most very importantest questions ever. Out of the 7 Beginner Loomians, which one of them is the best? So today that's what I'm going to be figuring out. But like last time I did something like this, I'm going to use my absolutely god-awful logic. For example, Tatab. Just because I chose this thing as my starter doesn't mean I can't call it mid. At this point, it's literally just a worse version of Meowscarada. Look at this big stinker. The leaves don't even move. Like, imagine having completely static leaves. Couldn't be me. The stick also just looks like the thing my grandmother has to lock her sliding doors. That's not a weapon. You are mid-tier. B. Oh, I also have to rate the other stages of the starters. A, B, S, F, B, C, B, A, B, D, C, D, A, B. I will not elaborate on these rankings any further. Zulong. I mean, it's fine. It's definitely one of the best of the first wave of Lumians, 100% beating out things like that, but still this feels so generic. I think the reason I don't like Zulong very much is because I've just seen so much of it. You don't see it much nowadays, but a year or two ago it felt like it was everywhere. I have no proof of this claim, and it may have just been in my head, but this affects my rankings of it. B. Himba, I get what they were going for, I just don't like it. I wish they kept on going with what Snowkey had, which admittedly wasn't very good either, but Silly Ice Monkey, in my opinion, is a much more interesting concept than a Yeti. Also, yes, there is a difference. I know this because of my microphone box. Also, you know what a Yeti is supposed to have? Limbs. What does Himba have? Lego pieces. The saddle is pretty cool though. C. Valkyrie gets the award for the dumbest sounding starter name, as well as having the strangest looking tail award. Besides that though, I love this thing. I legitimately have no good reason for me loving it so much. I have almost never used it, besides the saddle, that is amazing. I don't think I will ever be using it anytime soon, as the last time I checked it was god-awful in PvP, but for me it just clicks. It's like Deludrix, I just love it. It feels very powerful, like if I saw this thing head on I definitely would not want to get anywhere close to it. Again though, the tail kinda ruins it a bit, and the wings not having joints can make it look pretty goofy, but goofy looking Lumians are great and I love them. S tier, you cannot argue with me, this is my ranking video. I was gonna make that joke that Collectors of Lumian Legacy did, where it was just like the Vaporeon copy pasta, but with Luminami, but the video has just vanished, and I refuse to say it myself. I refuse to have that on the internet. I do quite enjoy myself the big fish, though. In the once in a blue moon that I go to the Battle Coliseum to actually fight people, I usually bring a very old, in air quotes, competitive-ready Luminami I made like 2 years ago, and it is very fun to use. One thing I find a bit disappointing though is that it is the water starter. To me, the idea of an anglerfish Lumian makes so much more sense to be a wild one in, I don't know, the deep underwater area, typically where anglerfish are found? It also feels weird that they made something based on a fish, walk on 2 feet and have hands, but like, I guess there's never really been guidelines on how you're supposed to translate an animal into a fictional creature. A. Vesperatu gets the award of the dumbest, stupidest name. Why is its name Vesperatu? I swear every time I say it, I always end up saying Vesperatu, or Google will autocorrect it to whatever the hell that is. Besides its name, major glow up from Dimpire. I feel like if it was added today, it probably would lean more heavily into the fact that it's a vampire, but then it probably wouldn't have got the weird hand things, which are a very iconic part of it to me. I personally think it is one of the few Lumians from the first update that still, 3 years later, holds up very well. I guess this can be said about some of the other beginner Lumians, but it feels very apparent here for some reason. I do wish its pre-evolutions were this good. When it attacks with the cross arm things, it's very cool. High A tier. And finally, Cyanite. Its regular version is kinda eh. It has the similar stubby fingers to Himba, and I don't know what the modelers were on when they thought that just taking parts of Raburn and adding armor plating to it was a good idea, but it is made up for by its gamma form. They got rid of the pretty weird shade of yellow and made it look honestly pretty dumb. and replaced it with a purpley grey, along with making the red into dark purple. This is a top tier gamma, and it feels very much in line with Oxydrake. Don't get me wrong though, the thing is still pretty stupid looking, and there are better rabbit Lumians out there, like, I don't know, a Boneki? But I will always appreciate the attempt to make it look as cool as possible while having this really odd restriction on how it can look. Also, Searing Steel's animation is pretty cool, and the saddle is just a Machamp Ride pager. Yeah, the obvious S tier. You may be like, why are you only judging that Lumian based on the gamma and the other starters are gammas? I don't care. Shut up, this is my list! So that was my very bad ranking of the beginner Lumians, but problem, there's 3 in S tier. How do we deal with this? Well, I did use Embit for an entire playthrough. And Embit is the winner! As a reward, it gets this PNG of a trophy. Good job.